Would you really get, would you really, would you, would you really give up $36,000 a year to be able to say what you want to say? I think we've all been in a situation where we had something we wanted to say. We had something we wanted to share. We wanted our voice to be heard. We had an opinion that we felt mattered. And we were in that situation where we weren't allowed to speak. Now that is one, it's just not a fun feeling to have. It's not a fun situation to be in. And that was a situation that I found myself. And what I want to share today is a story of where I was, why I felt trapped, and why I gave up $36,000 a year to be able to say this. What's going on, party people? So I want to tell a story today, and to tell a story, we've got to hop in our DeLorean. We got to go back in time. So where the story begins, so I had just left my old brokerage firm, financial advisor. I'm going out on my own. I'm now independent. And I want to be able to market myself differently. So this is when I first launched my blog. And when I launched my blog, I was excited because online marketing, social media, like my financial planning practice is going to blow up. But what most people don't realize that for financial advisors to be able to market, especially online, we have to follow very strict guidelines. We have a compliance department that we have to answer to for everything that we do. So anytime that we publish an article on a blog, or if we're quoted in media, if we're going to be on any sort of news station, like we have to let the compliance department know, and many times like we have to provide some sort of script of what we're going to say. This is what you call Big Brother. So initially when I approached my compliance department about starting my blog, initially they just said, no, absolutely not. Don't even ask again. You're not gonna be able to start a blog. But if you don't know this about me, I'm not the type of person that accepts the word no. I just don't like no. Don't tell me what I can do or can't do. But I wanted to make sure that I was being nice and being gracious. So I took the time to educate my compliance department exactly what a blog was. And I told them, like, listen, this is no different than me publishing something in our local newspaper. You're gonna be able to read the blog post, pre-approve it before I actually hit publish and it goes live. Amazingly, they said yes, and I was on my way. But I wasn't on my way completely. There were certain rules, restrictions that I had to follow, and there were just certain things that I couldn't say. At the time, I had my Series 7 license, which is a common license that most financial advisors have. And with that license, it allowed me to earn a commission if I sold certain products. So products could have been mutual funds, ETFs, annuities. Now, I didn't sell a lot of these products, so I didn't really earn a lot of commissions, but it was a license that I got when I first started, and I wasn't in a position to let it go yet. Even though I had my Series 7 license, there were things I just couldn't say in my blog post. So I couldn't use the word mutual fund. I couldn't use the word ETFs. I had to say investment options. I had to be very generic, very general. Also, everything had to be pre-approved, which I knew that going into it, but the pre-approval process was not very fast. Now this is going back in 2008, so there weren't a lot of financial advisors that were blogging at the time. And with the investment firm that I was with, they had, I think, between 8,000 to 10,000 different financial advisors underneath them. And I was like one of 5 that was blogging. So I was like this outlier that they really didn't know what to do with me. So how the process worked would, I would actually fax something to them, like old school fax. They would then receive that, and it would take them 5 to 7 business days before they finally got back to me to say if it would go live or not, if there were any adjustments or changes that I needed to make. 5 to 7 business days. But at the time, it was either like, if I wanted to blog, like that was the rules I had to follow, and the only other alternative was you don't have a blog. So you know what, that's fine. I'll play in your sandbox, I'll play by your rules, let's go ahead and do it. And the cool thing was I started to have success from the blog. I started getting local media mentions, and I started getting quoted in big time media like Forbes and Fox News and CNBC. And then I started getting clients that actually were contacting me because they found me on Google. And that was like the whole point. I was growing my financial planning practice, and it was all because of my online marketing efforts through my blog. But I remember there was a time that I submitted a blog post, and this blog post was talking about the Roth IRA, which is one of my favorite investment tools. And I remember that in this blog post, I made this statement: I love the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is one of the greatest investment tools that you should take a look at, or something like that. But I know specifically I said, I love the Roth IRA. And I didn't think there was any issue with that, so I was ready to hit publish whenever I got the approval back. But turns out that blog post didn't get approved. Rejected. That's right, the blog post got denied because I couldn't make the claim that I loved the Roth IRA. What they told me was I could say something like, you should consider the Roth IRA as an investment strategy and others like it, or something like that. It was very political, it was very playing both sides, it didn't have any opinion to it whatsoever, and most importantly, it wasn't me, it wasn't my voice. Now, as I said, I was playing by the rules, and I didn't at the time feel like this was a reason to make any changes. And to be honest, I didn't know what those changes were. So I bit my tongue and I just pushed on. And this is where it gets good. So I'm still submitting to compliance, I'm still publishing blog posts, and my financial business is growing like all is well. Now during this time frame, Twitter and Facebook are really taking off, so I'm using both of those to promote my blog posts. Like, who wouldn't? And in the beginning, compliance really didn't care because they knew what I was going through to get stuff pre-approved, and I didn't say anything different really on social media, so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, no big deal. Until it was. I can't even remember exactly what happened. I think there was a changeover with my compliance contact person, but all I know is this: I got an email from my compliance department and it said, from now on, if you want to publish something to Twitter and or Facebook, you have to get pre-approval first. I'm sorry, what did you say? So you're telling me that I have to get my tweet and my Facebook updates pre-approved? Just walk me through this. And I remember I was sitting at my computer and I was thinking about what I was gonna respond back, and this is basically what I said. So you're telling me that if I'm going out to eat with my family, it's Friday night and we go to Applebee's and we have the most amazing ribs ever. And I love these ribs and I want to share on social media about how awesome these ribs are. These ribs are awesome. Yeah, they're so good. Woo, For me to share that, I would have to wait until Monday, the next business day. I have to then fax it off to you, wait 5 to 7 business days before I can publish it to my social media profiles. And that's the process now. That's what I have to do to publish how much I love these ribs at Applebee's. Is that what you're telling me? I hope it isn't. It was. It was. So that is what I was dealing with. I mean, it's one thing to be restricted in not being able to say, I love the Roth IRA. But now you're telling me that I can't even update social media in real time. Like, that doesn't even work, right? Like, that's the whole point of social media. Obviously, my compliance department didn't get it, and I knew that they weren't going to get it, so I had to make a change. So at this point, I know that I need to make a change, and I was able to connect with other financial advisors that were using social media the way that it was supposed to be used. They were blogging without the same restrictions that I had, and the way that they were able to do it was they ended up dropping their Series 7, so they no longer were using that license. And you have to realize, like, this was a license that I got right out of college, and I'd had the license for, almost 5 or 6 years, and I studied a lot to get the Series 7 license. But for me just to give it away, that was hard. The bigger issue here was I had certain accounts, certain clients that I was making money from that I could only make if I had the Series 7 license. So if I let the Series 7 license go, I would no longer get this income anymore, and that amount equated to $36,000 per year. So it really wasn't so much giving up the license, it was giving up the $36,000 a year. So this is going back to 2011, and I don't remember exactly how much I was making that year, but I do remember that, I mean, 36,000 was a significant amount of money. And even to this day, I mean, 36 G's a year that's reoccurring, I mean, it was, I don't want to say passive, but it didn't take a lot of effort, for me to maintain that. I mean, just to give it away was something I really had to think about. 36,000 a year, that's a lot of money. So the number one question I had to ask myself was, if I drop my Series 7 license, can I replace that $36,000 a year? And I knew the answer was yes. Well, okay, maybe I didn't know, but I had faith that I could. Because I did know that I was having a lot of success with my blog, and I was doing so, and I was trapped in this box. I had all these restrictions, and I couldn't publish live, and I couldn't go on social media live, and I could only imagine what would that look like if I could just get rid of the chain and just get out of this box and get rid of all these rules and these restrictions and just do it the way that I want to do it. How much more success would I have? And that's what I based it on. So that's what I did. I ended up dropping my Series 7 license. I ended up forming my own wealth management firm, which is Alliance Wealth Management. And I did so just so that I could say what I wanted to say. And I gave up that $36,000 a year. Now, was it scary? HE double hockey sticks, heck yeah, it was scary. I mean, I was freaking out a little bit. Actually, even worse, my wife was freaking out because this isn't just like a simple process of like flipping a switch and your Series 7 is gone. I had to form a new business, a new LLC. I had to get registered with the state. I had to get all my clients to sign paperwork to transfer over to my new wealth management firm. I mean, this was like that was a 3-month process just to get clients transferred over, but to actually begin the process, it was like 6 months of planning and outlining it out and just making sure I had all my ducks in a row before it was finally done. So the question is, did I replace the $36,000 a year? Well, if you've been watching my YouTube videos, you know that I have. And I can't remember how quickly it happened, but I know in the very next calendar year that my income went up at least 20 or 30%. So it didn't drop by 36,000. I actually replaced it and then some. And that was all because I took a risk, I took a chance to do what I felt was in the best interest of myself. But ultimately what I did was I gave myself a voice. I allowed myself to speak and say what I felt needed to be said. And that's why I'm here today, talking to you through YouTube, through my blog, through my podcast. And you know what? It's a good feeling. So here's my question to you. Would you give up $36,000 a year to be able to say what you wanted to say? Just say what's on your mind, just speak what you feel is the truth. Would you? Would you be scared? Would you just dive in like I did? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, you know the drill. I think they say smash it, smash it. Smash that subscribe button. Just don't hurt yourself. And you know what? Share, like if you want to. But once again, I just want you to be able to speak and say what's on your mind. So speak your truth, speak what's on your heart, and share it, because guess what? You have something that needs to be heard too. This is Jeff Rose, reminding you that it's your money, your life, and only you can make it awesome. Next time, peace. Intro, 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 intro. 3, 2, 1. So I bit my lip and I pushed on. Is it bit my lip or I bit my tongue? I don't even know what do you say? Yep, that is it.